Hello, a very good morning to you. Thank you for staying on the Joy News channel. This is News Desk with me, Bernice Abubedulansa. And coming up, 4 students arrested for engaging in exam malpractice in the ongoing BECE. We'll tell you more and also get interactive with WAEC over its use of drone services to deliver exam papers to candidates in hard-to-reach communities. And alleged fugitive and pedophile remanded into police custody for a week. He's been accused of sexually assaulting 12 minors in 2 years, and he's said to have sought refuge in Burkina Faso. Also, airlines suspend flights as Niger decides to close airspace. We've got details of these and more, plus a crossover to a special lecture by the Ghana Journalists Association. Thank you for your company. We've got more shortly. We are coming to you from our studios in Kokomlemle, also on DSTV channel 421 and on myjoyonline.com and on your digital television. To the details now, 4 persons have been arrested for allegedly engaging in examination malpractices at the start of the Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE, on Monday. The arrest has been attributed to stringent measures implemented this year to check the challenge. Head of Public Affairs at the West African Examination Council, WAEC, John Kapi, confirmed the arrest to Joy News. According to him, the arrests were made in the Ashanti, Tema, and Central regions.
Yes, we've received a few reports from the Ashanti region where one individual was picked up where he was trying to approach the examination hall with some prepared material for the candidates. We've also picked somebody up from Tema West, that's Tema Central actually, where the lady had a tablet that had some information that she intended passing on to the candidates. In the Central region, to be specific, we've picked up 2 people who were answering the questions in the middle of the paper that they intended sending into the candidates who were writing the exam here. Well, these are criminal cases according to our rules and regulations governing the conduct of the examination. And anybody who breaches any of these rules, what we do is we simply report you to the law enforcement agencies. They apply our rules and then they are charged and they are sent to court.
Meanwhile, the council is also deploying drones to deliver exam papers in some hard-to-reach communities. Places like Setrea, Front Plains and others got their papers through these services. Well, that certainly is laudable and perhaps should be encouraged and expanded. So what has changed? What initiated this innovation, and what's the bigger plan for the future? John Kapi is Head of Public Relations at WAEC. He's joined us live for more. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for making time to join me on News Desk. Now, this is very interesting, never heard of in Ghana, using drone services to deliver questions for BEC candidates. Tell us more about how this initiative was thought through.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. We received information that the road between Asante-Boateng and the Setrea Front Plains was not more trouble because, of course, we had the rainy season and there was no way that we could have gone there. The canoes that were being used there were, nothing to write home about. So we chose to use the drone services, and that has worked for us.
Right. So, so far, how many communities have benefited from this innovation?
Well, so far we have just one school, Anyinofi, SDA, GHS. That is where we are using the drone to transport the question papers to.
Now, you have introduced a couple other things. One has to do with the stringent measures you put in place, which you allude to as the reason why you were able to pick up some students for examination malpractices. Tell us more about the new measures that have been introduced into this year's BEC, if there are any.
All right, so to begin with, we have intensified our monitoring system across all the centers in the country. We are using the National Investigative Bureau. We have also some police personnel who are helping. We have the WIC officers who are deployed to every part of the country. And then we also have some specially recruited personnel that the council has recruited, and these are also being used across the country. We have reports of some, let me call them flashpoints or malpractice-prone areas, and in those areas we have intensified our monitoring to ensure that sanity prevails at all the centers where the examinations are being taken.
Right. Thank you so much for your time. John Kapi is Head Public Affairs at WIC. He's just been sharing more details about their innovation, sending questions to students in a particular community using drones. We'll bring you much more later on the BEC shortly, and we will be telling you what's happening in some exam centers here in Accra. But let's check out the situation in some regions. In the Northeast region, a total of 8,636 candidates are sitting for the exam. Out of that number, 4,158 are females, that's 50%. They are writing in 29 examination centers. The regional minister, Yidana Zakaria, says the development is an indication that girl-child education has improved and commended the efforts of various stakeholders in the region. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko reports.
In the Cherponi district, a total of 825 candidates are writing, of which 429 are boys and 396 are girls. In the West Pampas municipality, there are 1,319 boys and 1,319 girls, making up a total of 2,638 candidates. In the Mampurgu-Mwaduri district, 597 candidates are writing, consisting of 298 boys and 299 girls. In the Yuyu-Naswane district, the candidates are 588, 326 are boys and 262 are girls. In the Bumpurgu-Nakpanduri district, out of 1,781 candidates, 940 are boys and 841 are girls. In the East Pampas municipality, there are 2,207 candidates, of which 1,166 are boys and 1,041 girls taking part in the examination. 219 schools are participating in 29 examination centers across the region. Regional Minister Yidana Zakari led the delegation of officials from the Education Directorate and the Coordinating Council to visit the candidate.
And also, on behalf of the Nayiri, the chiefs and people, and on my own behalf, to wish you well in your BEC examination. You have studied hard over the last 9 years. Today is the start of the examination, and I know that you have been well prepared by your teachers to make you write and pass very well. We wish you very good success, even as you go in to start the examination.
The minister encouraged the candidate to be confident and do independent work.
It's a lot of cheese. Don't rely on anybody. Do as much as you can. And I know that you have been prepared very well to pass this exam. So I wish all of you good luck in your exams.
Speaking to Joy News, Mr. Yidana Zakari expressed satisfaction with the number of female candidates taking part in these exams. The minister said it was an indication that the region was making giant strides in promoting girl-child education.
One thing I am so much impressed with is the fact that Northeast is almost attaining parity in terms of the male-female registered students for the examination. In total, we have 8,336 writing. And the number is even split, both boys and girls. That goes to tell that we are not left behind as a region. You know, in the past, enrollment was more skewed in favor of the boys. Today, the narrative has changed. So in the Northeast region, we can now also pride ourselves as a region that has attained parity. And that goes to drum home the message that female education is catching on. It's not like the past where they were relegated to the background. And that is all because a number of females in this region have gained admission into the tertiary level. Some are doing nursing, some are into the training, teacher training colleges, several others in the universities. We are very satisfied with what we have seen and the figures. And I believe that going forward, we can only get better.
Some of the candidates spoke to Joy News.
We are well prepared for the exams, for the efforts by our masters and how we are writing the mocks and the way they taught us how to answer the questions, how to present ourselves.
Our fears is just that we may not be comfortable here because we are not used to this place. This is just the first time we are here. We are hoping we will write well and the best
Away from the BEC for now, 35-year-old alleged fugitive and pedophile is standing trial at the Wa Circuit Court over 11 counts of charges for sexually assaulting 12 minors in the Wa municipality. The accused, who is a popular master of ceremonies for Islamic marriages, is alleged to have committed the act at his home and in the bush and given the victims 10 CDs with a promise of giving them the opportunity to dance in public whenever he MCs an event. Joining us, Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports that the case, though adjourned till next Monday, and with the accused remanded in police custody, will be heard daily.
It is a case of public interest, and residents of Wa thronged and flooded the forecourt of the Wa Circuit Court, spilling into the streets few times, blocking vehicular traffic. 35-year-old popular local master of ceremony for weddings, Rashid Ahmed, better known by his fans as Anata, faces 11 counts of sexual assault at the Wa Circuit Court. His victims, ages ranges between 10 and 15 years. The alleged sexual assault read at the court took place between 2021 and 2023. Wearing blue-black Muslim prayer gown over multicolored slippers, he was handcuffed at the back, sandwiched by uniformed and plainclothes policemen, and taken to the court. He was motionless, wore a frown, and clattered his teeth as the facts of all 11 counts were read to him. Anata denied the offenses during investigation and his caution statement. Most of the alleged sexual assault took place at his house at Adabia, a suburb of Wa, and the rest in the bush where they leaned on his motorbike for the amorous and beastly act. In most of the cases, the accused gave his victim 10 Ghana cedis and a promise of giving opportunity to dance at marriage ceremonies where he will serve as the master of ceremony. Principal State Attorney at the Attorney General's Department, Lawyer Saeed Abdul Shakur, who was leading the prosecution, prayed to the court for the accused to be remanded into police custody to enable them finish with their investigation. Lawyer Saeed Abdul Shakur also told the court because of the charged atmosphere outside the court, coupled with the public interest in the case, the accused should be kept behind bars for his own safety.
He is a flight risk. Somebody who has left the jurisdiction before, we cannot be sure he will not escape. Considering the gravity of the offenses and the punishment that is likely to be meted out if he is convicted, we are talking about a minimum of 8 years and a maximum of 25 years for each of the counts. If we succeed in our case, he might be going in for a long time. So if the court allow him on bail, we might be left holding the cheeky end of the stick. We might not get him to try. And we also say that it is in his own interest, because the anger, you can gauge the anger in society. You can reach out to it. You can see that people are hungry. For over 15 years of practice as a lawyer here, I've never seen this number of persons in court before. And this is the first time I've seen almost the entire society at court. If such a person is turned loose, we might not even get him to try, because people might take the law into their own hands.
The presiding judge, His Honor Jonathan Abugo, granted the wish of the prosecutors and remanded the accused into police custody and to reappear Monday, 4th of August. In 2014, the accused was arrested and slapped with similar charges for allegedly enticing and sexual assaulting over 10 underage girls. He was arrested and later released for lack of evidence.
All is because this society seems to enjoy living with criminals. Otherwise, you will not understand why anyone would want to interfere in a matter like this. But the last time he was arrested, I was here, I was still very young here as a lawyer, but I remember it vividly that people went behind the scene and took the victims away, so we couldn't get anybody to testify. This time we have all that covered. We have all our plans in place to ensure that nobody will go behind anywhere and touch any of the victims. We are going to go through this trial and we will do it expeditiously.
Some weeks ago, it was rumored that the alleged fugitive and pedophile will be in town to MC some weddings in the one municipality. From the look of things, it appears his chance of doing that just got a lot slimmer. Anata loves to crack jokes and dance. The dance floor is one place he commands authority. Export, you are unlikely going to see him fail, but you realize that this court is a different place. Reporting for the news, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Away from Wa and Ghana, European carriers on Monday reported disruptions and suspended flights across the African continent after Niger's junta closed its airspace on Sunday. The junta on Monday braced for a response from the West African regional bloc after ignoring its deadline to reinstate the country's ousted president or face the threat of military intervention. The disruption adds to a band of African airspace facing geopolitical disruptions, including Libya and Sudan, with some flights facing up to 1,000 kilometers. Joining us live for more is Executive Director of the West African Network for Peace Building, WANEP, Chukwuemeka Eze. Good morning to you, Mr. Emeka. Thank you so much for joining the program. So this reaction from Niger, I mean, with all my analysis and conversations, never came up as something that Niger could use in its defense. What's your reaction to this recent decision by the Nigerian authorities to block their airspace?
Well, I think they must have made the analysis and come with a position that once they do that, then a lot of other countries will also receive the kind of pain they are receiving following the ECOWAS announcement of a no-fly zone in Niger. So I'm pretty sure that they are also trying to reciprocate and to ensure that such pain will also push ECOWAS to relax its own sanction on no-fly zone.
Right. But this clearly doesn't prevent ECOWAS from still carrying out its threat, does it?
Well, I think in the first place, I think ECOWAS may not have gotten it all right because the ultimatum, as all of us are against any form of unconstitutional change of government, especially coup d'etat, and especially that Niger is a signatory to the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. In fact, former President Tanja actually was the chair of the authority when that protocol was signed. So to that extent, nobody is encouraging that, but I think that ECOWAS ultimatum should have been thought through, gathered allies, including the Peace and Security Council of the United Nations and other African countries through the African Union, and to make sure that there is no dissenting voice. So I'm pretty sure that the meeting coming up later this week will look at some of those pros and cons. But you cannot blame ECOWAS for being so stringent on any issue relating to coup d'etat. Otherwise, ECOWAS begin to lose its relevance, and then we are back to the same trench where we left, thinking that we are over and above a coup d'etat in West Africa.
Right. So, I mean, my question is that ECOWAS had earlier threatened to invade Niger, to come in with troops if Niger didn't return the country, or if the junta, rather, didn't return the country to constitutional governance system by a deadline that has already elapsed. And I'm asking if this closure of airspace by Niger is in any way to prevent ECOWAS from executing its threat, and if that will even succeed at all.
Well, I'm not a military officer, but you know, when it comes to this kind of invasion, whether you close your airspace or not, it will still happen. You know, otherwise, then you're protected. You know, so but I don't think that at this moment that would be the option on the table. It could be the last option, but not the option on the table. I think there are a lot of things that ECOWAS as a community can come together and do and put pressure on the military junta. You know, Nigeria, for example, is cutting off electricity. That's just one out of several other things that could be done. But I think that the most important thing now is to make sure that we speak with one voice as a community, so that there is no dissenting voice. At the moment, there is a coalition of the willing, as it were, amongst the countries that are under military regime against the rest of West Africa. That's not a good sign. The second thing also is that there are some other African countries that seem to be aligning with Niger. You know, that's not also a good sign. We were able to succeed in Gambia because there was no dissenting voice, and because whether it is at the level of the United Nations or African Union, everybody queued behind ECOWAS. On this particular instance, I think we need to tread carefully, but also making sure that we maintain a strong stance as far as ECOWAS is concerned. Otherwise, this will just be one of the several other coup d'etats we are going to see in the near future.
So we know that there's supposed to be a setting meeting again by ECOWAS leaders. We yet to know what the conclusion of those meetings will be. But from where you sit as WANEP, and seeing that even what we're seeing in Niger was predicted by some analysts and security experts right here on this channel, on Newsfile, and seeing that it could have been prevented clearly because people saw it coming and they could tell the undercurrents and how they had to be dealt with. From where you sit as WANEP, how do we deal with this problem? And do you see any end in sight soon?
Well, that's why this particular issue is very complicated. It's also very complex, but also defines what we expect going forward. The strength of ECOWAS and how they are able to deal with this would determine what happens in the near future. I think that, first of all, is that the Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance is overdue for reforms, and the ECOWAS Commission is aware of this. They have already taken steps alongside willing civil society organizations to make those amendments. It's left for our authority to provide a political will to approve those amendments that is made so that ECOWAS can have more teeth to bite. At the moment, the Democracy and Good Governance Protocol does not provide ECOWAS with the teeth to bite when things are about to happen. We leave it for too long, and when it happens, we begin to react. And we are spending so much resources now to address the issue of Niger. That could have happened a long time ago if the protocol is reviewed. My opinion is that we need to now begin to develop indicators that we use to measure governance. I think that there is a lot of bad behavior that exists within the corridors of power now that we need to checkmate. Otherwise, when citizens get frustrated, when the military gets frustrated, when the entire country gets frustrated because of lack of good governance, we will still come back to this period. The final thing also is that we need to begin to look at countries where they have the same characteristics with Niger. Just like you said, it is not for lack of prediction that Niger could happen. And we are also saying that there are 2 other countries that are very likely because they present the same picture as Niger, as Mali, as Burkina Faso, and as Guinea. And therefore, we cannot afford to go back to the trenches when the military usurp power from civil rule and bastardize the democracy we have all enjoyed. No matter how bad democracy is, it is still adjudged as the best form of government.
Now, finally to you, a U.S. diplomat visited Niger to meet the coup leaders and try to get for their President Bazoum's release. We are told that hasn't had any conclusive. She hasn't had any conclusive response yet, and it appears that the junta is really bent on carrying out this coup and establishing its dominance in that country. Let's look at the involvement of external government and bodies. When I say external, I mean beyond Africa and the sub-region, and how their intervention could possibly cause this to linger or probably help in ECOWAS efforts in getting democratic governance back to Niger.
The greatest challenge of ECOWAS now as a region is the geopolitics, the new friends and new enemies being cultivated in West Africa, namely most of them members of the Peace Security Council of the United Nations. And therefore, it creates enormous challenges for ECOWAS to even act. If there is no foreign power that is backing Niger, I don't think they will take the stand they are taking against ECOWAS as a community. Because if you look at the resources available, look at the strength of the army and ammunitions available, I don't think that Niger would take that kind of stand if they were not having some backing within the context of geopolitics. And therefore, I think that it is something that ECOWAS leadership needs to take further than just within the shores of West Africa and seriously engage some of these new friends and enemies. Because at the end of the day, what prices is ECOWAS going to pay or member states of ECOWAS going to pay for these new friends that are being cultivated? And what will be the cost on the ECOWAS peace and security architecture? It's only time that will tell, but we know that it is not going to end well.
Thank you for your time this morning. Chukwuemeka is Executive Director of WANEP, and we've just been talking about the Niger situation and updates on that. And we know that Victoria Newland, the U.S. Acting Deputy Secretary of State, visited the place, spoke to leaders of the coup, trying to get them to release President Bazoum. That didn't happen. She was not even allowed to speak to President Bazoum. But in an interaction with the media, she did mention that it was quite a difficult and frank conversation she had, and that the leaders of the coup are bent on carrying out with their plan, which does not conform to Niger's constitution. So we'll be keeping our eyes keenly on what happens in Niger and keep you updated as well. Now, government is expected to engage the services of a contractor to expand some identified storm drains in the whole municipality of the Volta region. This is a deal with flooding. According to the Volta Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Ivy Amewuga, an assessment report has been submitted to the appropriate agency, awaiting approval and execution. She was speaking to the media on the sidelines of the donation of some relief items to flood victims by the Rotary Club of Hope.
A July 8, 2023 flood left ravaging effects on Ho and surrounding communities in the whole municipality of the Volta region. People's investment, personal belongings and food items were swept away by the flood, recorded to be the biggest experienced within the last 2 decades. Some buildings in the affected areas were severely damaged. The National Disaster Management Organization was unable to perform its mandated duties of providing relief items to cushion victims in the interim. Ivy Ameuga is the Volta Regional NADMO Director.
We have appealed that disaster management is not, should I say, it's a collective effort. So we don't leave it to NADMO alone because the numbers are very huge. We are looking at about over 1,000 victims. We don't want to go with what we have, and then it will start hearing that you have left Kojo out, you've left Mensa out.
This informed a decision by the Rotary Club of Ho to mobilize some items to support NADMU to provide for the victims. 75 bags of rice, 250 bottles of oil and 120 packs of soap were handed over to the organization for onward distribution to the victims.
We witnessed a flood in Ho, which we have never seen before. I have been in Ho for the past 10 years. I've never seen anything like that before. So when we saw that Rotary being a service organization with to help people, we decided to come together to see how best we can put this together. So we solicited for funds from Rotarians, non-Rotarians all over the district, and we gathered some money, and together we put together the items to give to the flood victims, and that's what we just done this morning.
As the flood happened, some people, their food items and stuff got damaged. So sending this item to them will be of great importance to them, to help them to sustain them for some time as they get back to their normal situations. So these items are very much important to them.
However, the size of some main storm drains and culverts in Ho was identified as a contributing factor to the perennial floods. Technocrats and stakeholders suggested an expansion of the drains to prevent annual flooding. Ivy Amauga said reports have been sent to the appropriate government agencies awaiting approval.
You know that for the expansion and whatever, government have to release the money. So the paperwork needs to be done for such actions to continue. So we have tabled in the reports after the tour, and we are hoping that very soon we will see some action commencing on the affected roads and places.
So we heard about Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News.
This is News Desk with me, Bernice Abubeidulansa. Limited resources for the health sector in low and middle income countries require the use of appropriate technologies and innovations to influence priority setting. This is also to guide coverage decisions in a bid to attain universal health coverage by 2030. Health technology assessment allows a critical assessment of health technologies as a basis for making evidence-based decisions in the health sector. The use of the health technology assessment in Ghana and Africa at large is low, and therefore there's a need for capacity building for efficient utilization of limited resources in the sector. 30 healthcare professionals are therefore benefiting from a health technology assessment, that's an HTA course by the KNUST Africa Higher Education Health Collaborative in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation.
Participants are health professionals, health managers, policymakers, civil servants and researchers working in the health sector at the primary healthcare level in Ghana. Professor Anthony Eduse of KNUST School of Public Health, who read the speech of the principal investigator of KNUST Africa Higher Education Health Collaborative, Professor Ellis Osudabo, is optimistic the 5-day workshop will maximize the gains in the health sector.
HTA, which is Health Technology Assessment, is a tool that is being increasingly employed to influence healthcare priority setting. In the era of rapid development and innovation in technology for healthcare, the need to prioritize for which technology to use to meet the competing needs of individuals is paramount. Through HTA, we can use acceptable methods to evaluate the medical, economic, social, ethical, and legal issues or consequences of any health technology. And the health technologies that we can have in mind are medical devices, pharmaceuticals or medicines, vaccines, procedures in healthcare practice, diagnostic tests, programs or systems, as well as public health interventions. And through this critical assessment, we can make evidence-based decisions, potentially contributing to appropriate and efficient use of technologies, thus achieving value for money in respect of investment in healthcare provision.
The course is under the aegis of the Health Employment Pillar of the Africa Higher Education Health Collaborative. The pillar lead, Dr. Kofi Akwahin-Mensah, revealed the course has been accredited by various health professional bodies for continuous professional development points.
Cancer has given us 19 points for this course. We are also talking about Allied Health Professional Council, and Allied Health Professional Council has given us 20 points for this course. We are also talking about the Nursing and Midwifery Council. The NMC have also given us 20 points for this course. Then lastly, we are talking about Pharmacy Council.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Let's do some politics now. You can't disrespect me and expect me to join your campaign, quote unquote. These are the words of Deputy Railway Development Minister Asante-Boateng to the camp of Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's expressed his dissatisfaction at how some members of the Vice President's camp, according to him, blatantly snapped him during a campaign visit to constituencies in the Asante-Boateng area. The Member of Parliament for Asante-Boateng South says he's hurt by the actions of members of the Bawumia camp who probably see him as an outlier. He's thus announced his loyalty to former Trades Minister Alan Tremate, describing him as a brother. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku has more.
Rousing welcome by delegates and pro-Alan supporters as the former Trades Minister began his tour in the region, paying a courtesy call on the paramount chief of Ejuso, where he hails from. Nana Afrani Okese IV blessed the flag-bearer hopeful, throwing a challenge to his detractors over Mr. Chemanteng's victory in the upcoming party elections. I know it shall work. Even the detractors know it shall work. I'm solidly behind him in everything. The goals are behind him. You can bet over this. The team proceeded to constituencies in the Asante-Boateng area to solicit support, with some government officials throwing their weight behind the former minister. Deputy Railway Development Minister Kweku Asante-Boateng announced his vehement support after he claimed to have been dejected by the Bawumia camp. When Vice President Bawumia came to Asankari, we decided to go welcome him and some members of his team. None of them greeted me when I extended a handshake. You can't disrespect me and expect me to join your campaign. I am hurt by their actions. Alan is my brother. I cannot denounce him. If he wins or not, I will support him. The group headed to the constituencies in the Kumewu area and made a final stop at Ejuso. Mr. Chemanteng touted his achievement to the delegate, indicating that he is the man to wield more votes from the Ashanti and Volta regions to aid a landslide win in the upcoming general elections.
Volta region, NDC. Ejina Volta region.
The NDC has more voters in the Volta region. Vote for someone who can reduce their numbers there. Jerry Rawlings has been the favorite of the Voltarians, but they told me I am their new favorite after Rawlings died.
Godfather. Jerry Rawlings on you with you. What of was here? Shall Rawlings require? But the church Allah, the
On the first day, the former minister visited 8 out of the 47 constituencies and is expected to complete his tour in the Ashanti region within 6 days. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
It's time now to bring you some business news updates, and when Daryl Kwao joins you, he'll be telling you about how MTN has committed 12 million cedis to developing digital skills amongst young females. Stay for that.
Hello, my name is Abeku Agri Santana. If there's anything that makes my life so easy, it is my bank. I love hanging out with my boys at our usual fufu joint. But even without cash, we still dey chop better with EcoBank Mobile. No matter the time of day, my bank helps me stay in touch with my beautiful wife whenever she's away. And when my beautiful wife is in town, she never misses out on her favorite TV shows because I'm able to pay up all my TV subscriptions from the comfort of my mobile phone. Whenever she has to get groceries too, my bank makes it cashless and convenient. And the part my wife loves the most is when my bank makes it possible and easy for her to shop from any part of the world without moving.
Welcome to the smart world of EcoBank. Download EcoBank Mobile from Google Play Store or the App Store and discover the smart way to bank. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
It feels good to football with GoTV. And nobody but GoTV gives you all games of La Liga and Serie A, the Premier League and UEFA games that matter, and the world's favorite cup competitions. Get GoTV Super for only 249 cedis to enjoy the football overload. GoTV, love it.
We've had news file over the weekend, and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
And we are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
Joy 99.7 FM brings you another Joy Family Forum dubbed Becoming Mr. and Mrs. All You Need to Know Before Marriage. A breakfast meeting for singles led by Home Affairs and hosted by yours truly, Adam Knight T. Our guest speakers for the day are Ghana's favorite uncle, Uncle Lebo White, and Reverend Mrs. Rita Kranche Ankra, First Lady of the Royal House Chapel. Mrs. Theresa Wiafe Asante, Mama T, Ariel the wellness coach, Kobina Tabedu, PG Sebastian, lawyer Kwekuyamwa Pencil, Dr. Promise Sepoga, and a host of other seasoned relationship coaches and counselors will all be in attendance. You get to enjoy a good buffet breakfast, giveaways, networking, and other fun activities at a cool rate of 150 Ghana cedis per head and 250 for two. Venue is the Best Western Plus Hotel, Nungwa. Time is 6 a.m. through to 10 a.m. and the date is 12 August 2023. Please reserve your spots now. Call or WhatsApp 059-288-9986 for your reservations. This event is supported by Best Western Plus Hotel, Nungwa, Ship Healthcare Specialist Medical Center, Nish, Goba Kente, and Marie Noel's Spa and Salon. Becoming Mr. and Mrs. All you need to know before marriage.
Marry me, 'cause I love you, baby.
Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Powell. Now, as part of efforts to improve digital inclusion and gender inclusivity, communications firm MTN has committed 12 million cedis to the development of digital skills amongst young females. The initiative, which will be implemented through the Girls in ICT initiative, is being championed by the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization. Here's more in this report.
The MTN Girls in ICT Open Day program hosted about 100 girls from the Bono and Ahafo regions to improve their exposure to emerging technologies through mentorship. The initiative, which is spearheaded by the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization, saw female tech personalities encourage the girls to venture into the technology space while bridging the gender disparity gap. Speaking at the sensitization session, Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer at MTN, Adjoa Wiafe, said MTN is committed to supporting underprivileged segments in society to ensure gender equality.
For this program, we have committed about 12 million Ghana cedis over a period of 3 years. We committed it in 2021, and so we are supporting the ministry with that. Aside that, we have our foundation that is also focused on ensuring and training and in digital skills. So our foundation is focused on the youth, with girls and those who are underprivileged being the focus. The reason why we are focusing on girls is the disparity that we have in ICT when it comes to digital skills. So we are focusing on underprivileged or underserved segments of our society now, so to bring them up and ensure some gender parity when it comes to ICT skills. So that's why we are focusing on girls.
Some of the participants spoke to Joy Business.
At first, I wanted to become a geologist, but by attending this program, I think I have to change my mind, and forcefully in my mind, in my own self, I have to change my mind to become a computer engineer, because this program has helped me a lot to know everything I know. I mean, some things, though I'm not full, so some things about ICT, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So, Girls in ICT program, thank you for coming on to our aid.
Last year, they organized some program called Girls in ICT, which is a coding club, and it's helped me to do animations using computer or laptop, and it will help the youth to become active using ICT tools.
MTN pledged to set up a $25 million ICT hub, which will boost various disciplines in the tech space and boost Ghana's digitalization drive. The theme for the program is Digital Skills for Life.
Now, Managing Director of Adansi Travels, Gideon Asare, has reiterated the need to shore up domestic tourism investments in the country, indicating it's got prospects in transforming livelihoods through employment and wealth creation. At the 10th anniversary dinner, he said the Travel and Tour Company will continue to embark on various initiatives to boost tourism in Ghana.
We working on one other subsidiary called Sea Ghana, and it's a project that we started already. And what we are doing to help is that we want to make travel within Ghana more affordable. A lot of people complain about the cost when they have to travel in Ghana. So we've started to make sure that we have what we call free departures. So a time will come that if you want to go to Cape Coast on a weekend, we don't need to struggle. You just go to the mall and then there's a departure, a bus leaving every Friday, for instance, or every Saturday there's a Accra City tour. So maybe starting from Accra. So when you are not even you are feeling bored, you can just go to the mall, join the bus, pay for it, and then go. So we are working on that, and that is one of the things that will change the domestic travels. And we also partner a few organizations to come out with some festivals. So in December, for instance, we are partnering with Taste of Africa to do a festival in the northern region called the Oneness Cultural Festival.
And that's it for this segment. The news continues after the break.
HD, the new exciting football channel, is now available only on HD Plus and brings you football from around the world. Watch Sadio Mane and Daniel Kufitre in the top weekly match of the Bundesliga 1 and DFB Cup, Primera Liga, Copa de la Liga Profesional, see Ronaldo in the Saudi Pro League, as well as daily sports news every other hour. Also, get updated on Messi and Mbappe on PSG TV and many more. Feely on HD Plus channel 151. Agronaede, HD Plus, the Feely experience.
For crystal clear and thrilling podcasts and live shows, download and listen to us on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, MyJoy Online, Amazon services like Echo, Amazon Music, and Audible, Stitcher, Adom Online, Overcast, and Pandora. Take note of everything. Sign up for the multimedia digital platforms now to stay updated.
Joy 99.7 FM brings you another Joy Family Forum dubbed Becoming Mr. and Mrs. All You Need to Know Before Marriage. A breakfast meeting for singles led by Home Affairs and hosted by yours truly, Adam Knight Tay. Our guest speakers for the day are Ghana's favorite uncle, Uncle Ebo White, and Reverend Mrs. Rita Kranche Ankra, First Lady of the Royal House Chapel. Mrs. Theresa Riafi Asante Mama T, Ariel the Wellness Coach, Kobina Tabedu, PG Sebastian, Lawyer Kwekuya Pencil, Dr. Promise Sepoga, and a host of other seasoned relationship coaches and counselors will all be in attendance. You get to enjoy a good buffet breakfast, giveaways, networking, and other fun activities at a cool rate of 150 Ghana cedis per head and 250 for two. Venue is the Best Western Plus Hotel, Nungwa. Time is 6 a.m. through to 10 a.m. and the date is 12 August 2023. Please reserve your spots now. Call or WhatsApp 059-288-9986 for your reservations. This event is supported by Best Western Plus Hotel, Nungwa, Ship Healthcare Specialist Medical Center, Nish, Goba Kente, and Marine Noel's Spa and Salon. Becoming Mr. and Mrs. All you need to know before marriage.
Marry me, 'cause I love you, baby.
Thank you for staying on News Desk. And before we go, 6 police officers sustained injuries following a clash with commercial tricycle riders, that's Pragya riders, at the premises of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, KMA. The riders pelted stones, destroying the windscreen of 2 cars owned by KMA staff. A military team had to intervene to disperse the crowd and stop the rioting. Nana Boache Yadom has more in the following report.
aggrieved tricycle riders besieged the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly in an attempt to retrieve their seized tricycles. Their action was fiercely resisted by the police. This angered the riders, resulting in a clash with the police. 6 of the officers sustained injuries and are currently receiving treatment at the KMA clinic. The assembly called in military intervention, who managed to disperse the mob and arrested 12 tricycle riders. Communications Director for KMA, Efia Kunedu, says the commercial tricycle riders earlier blocked the Swami stretch leading to the Central Business District.
They came to forcibly take the tricycles from the yard. And that is where the resistance happened, because that is not how it is done. And so if we allow you to forcibly take something off, then what is our essence? It was because the people misbehave. And so you could have asked why it is here. And then we also do not know you. So what is the grounds, or how sure are we that the tricycle is for you, Mr. A or Mr. B? When the police saw them up, they also came in to let them know that they cannot take the items from them. So that is when they started beating up. I think they ganged up against some of the police officers, so they beat them up. So if you go to the hospital, you see various injuries that they have sustained. So we realized that the situation was getting out of hand. One, they were not ready to comply with any law. They were ready to hurt anybody that came their way. And they just didn't allow law or order to work. So that's how we have to call in the military. And then they came in, I think there were about 7 or so. They came in to disperse the crowd, and they have left, as you can see.
The KMA says it remains resolute in restricting the operation of commercial tricycles in the city centre.
As a city, we will have to. We are continuing it for 1 week, and then it will continue again depending on how the state of affairs at the end of the week. But as we speak, it's a week-long exercise, and we're going to continue the exercise. We are working with the police and the military. So if they are coming here lawfully, like you have entered, nobody's going to do anything to them. But if they are going to come to us in the manner that they came this afternoon, we also have to meet them and make sure that the law works to the latter.
Reporting for Joy News, Nana Brache Dankwe Yadom, Kumasi.
And that'll be all for this edition of News Desk with me, Bernice Abubedulans. I really appreciate your company. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We are Joy News on TV. We post news updates there and links to all our stories. But do stay with us here also on the Joy News channel. We are your most credible news source. Take care. We are back at 12 with more news updates for you.